Hey everybody, today's words to live by are: the most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have. So it sounds a little bit like a downer, but it's actually a call to live forward and not backward. And it comes from a surprising source in this YouTube series of mine, Soren Kierkegaard. So yeah, he's if you know anything about Kierkegaard, he's decidedly dark. His topics are often morbid. Um, he's ironic. He's romantic. He's tragic. Consider some of the other titles of his books. There's one called Fear and Trembling, The Sickness Unto Death, Diaries of a Seducer. I mean, these titles are not uplifting. They're probably not words to live by, right? But I love finding writers and artists and trying to go through and find these little nuggets of gold and to try to potentially turn something that's on the surface into something that could be incredibly powerful if we sort of heed the language in it. And so in one of his other books called Either Or, Kierkegaard goes through and does this discussion of this concept of the aesthetic man, who is centered on pleasure and the avoidance of commitment, and having a fear of just general despair, until that despair becomes basically unavoidable, and then the despair becomes a gateway to living a more spiritual and ethical life that is not at all despair. It's in fact the opposite of despair, and it's something full of meaning and very meaningful. So the irony here is that you've heard in one of my other videos that I went through my own personal recovery, and Kierkegaard's work actually came to me right when I needed it. It was kind of on the heels, shortly after my initial recovery. And, I was sort of coming out of those depths of despair, and I needed to read something that I could kind of laugh at, even though, some of these topics are really heavy. But it was also me trying to find the light and trying to find the meaning in what he was trying to get across, which is this concept of living your life full of meaning and not holding anything back. And that's why I sort of termed it as it's a call to live forward and not live backwards. So everything that's happened before has already happened. So the most painful state of being is remembering the future, right? It sounds ironic and counterproductive, but it's not when you sort of position it as a call to move, to move forward. So it's kind of inviting us to take this shift from despair to purpose, from sitting on the sidelines to engagement in life. And so I love to, I don't have this one tacked up on my wall or anything. It'd probably scare like visitors away. But I do love remembering this quote, and I have it written down in my journals. And it reminds me, it snaps me back into, one, not only the brilliance and the genius of some of Kierkegaard's writings, but just trying to find those nuggets that are incredibly useful. I found to be such a thrilling exercise. So I hope this individual quote, minus all the doom and gloom that Kierkegaard tends to write with, if you're familiar with any of his works, I think there's some really great wisdom in a lot of what he says. So it certainly helped me at a pretty poignant time in my life too. So I wanted to pass it along. If you like this, please hit the like button and or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.